Guys, what's up? It's John, Gamester81. This is what's going down, guys. I'm going to review this new system. It's called the Emu, and it is a kit for the Raspberry Pi 3. So if you're familiar with the Raspberry Pi 3 or the Raspberry Pi 1 or 2, basically it's a unit. Yeah, a lot of people use it for emulation to play games. You can put movies on there, you can music. It's a really cool device. What's nice about the Emu is everything out of the box is ready to go. It comes with some really great accessories. The system's not quite out yet as we're filming this video. The box I'm showing you here is actually an early version of the box. I can almost tell you it's going to probably look different because it doesn't include one of the accessories that it comes with. So basically what you get with this, you get the system, you get 3 different controllers, actually no, 4 different controllers. It comes with a micro SD card as well for memory. I'll show you an unboxing, explain what's all included. So it is a kit, everything's out of the box, ready to go. A lot of times with Raspberries, you have to kind of program it, you have to do some backlog, and certainly a lot of people can do that, and it can be fairly affordable. But what's nice about this thing is out of the box, ready to go, comes with great accessories. What's cool about this is they partner up with organizations like Laka, which is operating system, which works great. You can play games. You can do emulation stations. So anything you can do on a Raspberry Pi, you can do on this. This is the latest version of the Raspberry Pi. It's the 3rd one, Raspberry Pi 3. They're also working with LibRetro, which is a great program. It's how that works is there's cores. It's a community. They're working closely with them. So that's awesome. And not only can you play retro games on the emulators, but there's going to be opportunities to actually buy new games and download new games, retro style games on this thing. So there's going to be like a shop, which is going to be sweet. So a lot of cool potential with this thing. So my goal in this video, guys, is to show you an unboxing, step you through the different emulators, what you can do with this thing. Also talk about the potential, and then at the end of the video I'll show you my thoughts about the system itself. I'll put a link below to a website. You can check out more information about the Emu. I'm curious what you guys' opinion on this kit is. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's take a close look and game on. Okay, so first I want to show you the box and kind of show you the accessories that it comes with. It's also going to come with like an NES style controller, so that's not pictured here in the box. This is kind of an early version of the box. It kind of explains what it can do. Plug in, download, play your favorite classic games, PC arcade games, pre-installed Kodi Media Center, built-in 64 gig memory. It's a micro SD card. Actually, you can expand that up to, I think, 128 gigs now, which is crazy. Includes 2 wired controllers, a Bluetooth keypad, dozens of pre-installed games. And here is the back. So Raspberry Pi 3 Emu game system. I like the logo. Emu is, for those who may not know, it's like a smaller version of an ostrich, but it's also short for emulator. But it's kind of fitting because, like I said, this is a local company where I live, and in the history of where I live, actually, they had a lot of ostrich farms and emu farms, so it was kind of random. I don't think that was intentional. But let's go and take a look at the unit itself. So here's the unit itself. It has internet cable connection right here, although it is wireless as well. We can do updates, which is nice. 4 USB slots here, you can put up to 4 players, okay? It is Bluetooth. What's really cool is you can actually also hook up your PS3 Bluetooth remote, PS4 Bluetooth controller. You can hook up Xbox 360 Bluetooth if you have the dongle. So it's really cool. So you can use those already as well. And this is where the mini micro SD card is. Now I've noticed, one thing I've noticed is it's very hard to get out. I have no fingernails anyway, but kind of hard to get out. This side right here, you have your HDMI. This is like your power. You can also hook it up to your PC. So it's very easy to just load ROMs and just drop it into the folder. Really, really simple. I'm not sure what this does. Maybe it's like a power, like a headphone jack kind of string. Very, very lightweight, but still pretty good build quality. It does come with AC adapter, of course, HDMI cables, which you'll definitely need. It comes with like a PS2 style USB controller, and overall it feels pretty good. It feels like a PS2 controller. Okay, it's got those 4 shoulder buttons there. It also comes with a Super Nintendo style controller, so that's great to play games. Obviously Super Nintendo, you can play NES, you can play Genesis games pretty easy on here. I guess this controller would be good for like Dreamcast, N64, and then also comes with, this is really cool, this is a Bluetooth keypad, and the battery comes in packed loose because I guess that's for shipping reasons, but this is a touch screen here. This is great for like PC games, so if you're playing games like Wing Commander or other classic PC games, would be something you want to use. It's Bluetooth. Really easy to hook up the Bluetooth. This is a charger right here where you plug it on-off switch right here. Okay, and a nice little touchpad. We'll test all those out, and this is your little adapter to your PC, so USB to your PC. That's obviously important. And this is also going to be included. This is a really cool, like Famicom style controller. Now I know they're throwing an NES controller. I think this is the one you're going to throw in Famicom, classic Famicom style. Love it. Handles really well, and it's USB as well. So this particular one's not USB. This is the normal one, but the one that's going to come with it is USB. So that's important. Okay, pretty cool. I'm a big fan of that. So let's boot this thing on. I'll show you some games. Let me know what you guys think. Go from there. Here it is. This is the Laka interface, the main menu. You have various options, very similar to the media crossbar that you'd find on a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation Vita by Sony. These are the different system cores by Libretto. Here is the Atari 2600. I'm going to show you a game called Bachelor Party. This game came out, one of the rare games for the systems by Mystique. It's an adult game. It was sold in adult porn shops primarily. It plays kind of like to break out. You need the paddle controller to play it. I'm playing it with my Super Nintendo controllers. Still plays pretty good. Using the D-pad, not too bad, but definitely speeds up. And for some reason, the capture card here didn't capture my paddle, which is interesting, my actual thing, which is odd. But anyway, you have various options. You can go back. Here is the Atari 7800, just another system core. And they're all alphabetical. You can also hit the R and L shoulder buttons to kind of skip through various letters, or you can hit up and down, go through each game individually. You'll see a screenshot of each game as well. We're going to check out Rampage. Not a huge fan of the Atari 7800. Didn't do very well. I guess it was supposed to come out later or earlier than it actually did. And by the time it came out, the NES by Nintendo was king of the market. And the sound chip that they use on the system is the exact same sound chip that you'd find in an Atari 2600 system. So graphically, it's 8-bit. Although here's Rampage, which is a great arcade game I'm a huge fan of. But this game the graphics just aren't really that great. You can see here, I can't even figure out how to climb the building. So not necessarily the system's fault, it's just I think it's the game's fault, not the Emu system fault anyway, I should say. The goal of this game, if you've never played Rampage, is to destroy the buildings and pretty much eat people, all that good stuff. Here's the next core I'm going to show you, the system core. This is the Atari Lynx, the first color portable system. I actually bought a Lynx day one. This is Batman Returns. I actually had this game, I still do. This is actually a really good platforming beat-em-up game, and just really a big fan of the Atari Lynx. Definitely kind of an underrated system. 8 batteries like crazy, went through 6 AA batteries, all that good stuff. Now, one thing I just want to also note that I did test the system using all the controllers. The controllers actually work really well, including the keyboard controller that I showed you before, the Bluetooth. And it's really cool that, like I mentioned before, you can actually use a PlayStation 3 controller. You can sync that up. Just all you need to do is just plug it in, and it will detect it. Because this is Wi-Fi, you can actually do patching and update things as well. Here's a WonderSwan Color by Bandai. Now let's check out a game. This is Final Fantasy. Let's check out Final Fantasy. This is a remake of the original Final Fantasy for the Famicom and NES. This system, Square had worked with Bandai, and this is one of the series that really made the system do pretty well in Japan. The Game Boy Advance just ruled the market in North America. This is all in Japanese, so kind of hard to navigate, but you definitely get the idea. Here is the WonderSwan. This is the original WonderSwan by Bandai. This is black and white, very similar to like what you'd see with the Game Boy. And it is actually horizontal. This is Puzzle Bobble. Object is to connect multiple colors at the same time, but kind of awkward to play horizontally anyway. I want to show you a game that actually comes with the actual Emu. This is Cave Story. And this is an example of newer games that you're going to be able to purchase and download for the Emu. This is Cave Story. So this is built with Libretto. So this is really cool to see this working. If you've ever played Cave Story, definitely recommend it. Definitely old school style game. A lot of dialogue you got to read and all that good stuff. But no, it's definitely a game to check out. And as you can see, it runs great. We're back out. We're going to check out some PC games. This is Doom. I remember playing Doom by id Software, and this is one of the best games that I grew up playing, and definitely a huge influential game with the first person. And just want to show you how cool it runs. And I used to go get the demo games, you know, the shareware or whatever that they used to have for Doom and Wolfenstein 3D. This was definitely a game that I really enjoyed and still do. And this really started off for me for first-person shooters. Next is they have a FB Alpha. This is kind of like MAME, but it's different. There's benefits to this opposed to MAME. I'm not quite sure what the benefits are, but it does run pretty well. I just want to show you a really random game I've never really played before. It's this Jackie Chan fighter, and it looks like it came out in the 90s and kind of competing with the likes of Mortal Kombat. And you'll see what I mean here in a second. And it's kind of choppy frame rate. I think that's actually the game, not the Emu, because I played other games on this using this core, and it works great. They play great, but this is a game I want to show you. And here are your characters. You can choose from your random dragon. They also have another version of this game that you can play as Jackie Chan, but there's like 3 different versions of Jackie Chan, which is random. And you actually can pick your computer opponent here. So I'll pick the Mysterious Lion. So here I am. Really random. Yes, if you're into fighters, this is definitely a game to like and check out. What's the other game for the Jaguar that came out for a while? Kind of like this too. I can't think of it, but yeah, look at that. I got actually figure out a move. Down, right, action button, just like the Hadouken. Oh, look at that. There's another one. This is pretty much a Ryu clone. Oh, I just got him. Nice. I don't think there's any finishing moves or anything like that. Here's another core, and this actually is included with the Emu, which is awesome. This is a Game & Watch core. So here's Donkey Kong for Game & Watch. And just give you an example, really cool. And you actually play like that. This is one of my favorite cores on the system. And again, when you purchase it, this is included. Games like this are included. So there are some games included. Most of the ROMs and stuff, you're responsible for downloading yourself. And those are fairly easy to find online. Absolutely. And all you have to do is just pretty much plug in the system into your computer and just drag and drop the ROMs into the folder. And so it's pretty cool. Really, really simple, straightforward. Not too hard. But yeah, this is really cool. I thought this was great that you could play Donkey Kong. And they had there's a ton of other Game & Watch games. You can check it out as well. Here's another Game & Watch. This is part of the core. This is the Donkey Kong Coleco tabletop. Super stoked they have this. I actually own this tabletop Donkey Kong. I got it back when it came out in the 80s. Still have my original one. And it's really cool. This plays exactly like the original one. It's really cool that when you play it shows the whole unit as well. And there's one last example I want to show you part of this core, because this is probably my personal favorite core that's on the system. This is Pac-Man by Tomy, and I actually had this growing up too, which is pretty wild. So turn it on, and what's weird about this one though is you have to go facing the pellets to be able to eat it. If you go backwards, it doesn't eat the dots, which is kind of strange, but super kick-ass in my opinion. Vectrex, one of my favorite retro consoles. Came out during the time of the video game crash, 1983. Mindstorm, I'm going to show you Mindstorm. This is a built-in game that came with the system. And actually, interesting enough, the game will crash level 13 if you get far enough. They did release a cartridge version of Mindstorm as well. This emulator is really hard to emulate. It plays great, but it does look better on the actual Vectrex unit because the lines are more linear and straight. So it's called the Vectrex because it plays vector graphics, obviously. So it's huge. There's a lot of games like Star Wars came out, Asteroids, and that was huge in the arcades. Here's the Odyssey 2. This is the next core. This one I couldn't get to figure out the controls for, unfortunately, but it does load up fine. I'm sure it's just simple. It's user error on my end, unfortunately. TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine. Seriously, one of the most underrated systems out there. So if you guys never played it, do yourself a favor. Check out a TurboGrafx. Check out a PC Engine. A lot more games came out for the PC Engine. This has got both. You got R-Type and some classic ones. Adventure Island, that's Adventure Island sports titles, all that. I'm going to go back to I believe R-Type. Let's go check that out because that's just a classic. Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to do Tailspin. Let's do it. Let's begin it. So Tailspin came out for the NES, but this version of the game is a lot different, based, of course, on the Disney Afternoon cartoon series, based on characters from Jungle Book. This is a platforming game, so definitely a great game. There was also, they had Darkwing Duck for the TurboGrafx 16 as well. I believe that was the other Disney Afternoon game that came out for the system. But interesting. I love the graphics; really colorful, nice graphics. Interesting platformer. Definitely one to check out. I think probably my favorite game is Zonk for the system. Go back, let's do, I'm going to show you a PC Engine CD or TurboGrafx CD. Let's do Dracula 10. This is cool. I love this. This is Castlevania. And I just love the intro. I mean, unfortunately, you can't skip to the intro if you don't have a saved game on it. But the intro's so cool because it's in like German. The music is intense. It's awesome. The intro can go on for 5-10 minutes or so, but I'll give you a little sample here. Let's go check it out. They just don't make games like this anymore. It's just a shame. I mean, this is quintessential game to check out, man, for sure. Absolutely love it. Of course, we have the Super Graphics. This is the successor to the PC Engine. Came out in Japan only. Only a handful of games came out for it. Didn't do very well. This is probably one of the better ones. Ghouls and Ghosts. This is a port of Ghouls and Ghosts. Probably the one best home ports that you will find for the system. You can load. You can actually save a state. And go back and load it, which is cool. I wanted to show you kind of an example of that. Okay, show you how that works. Very easy. So that's nice. We'll be able to save it for you. And because it has a micro SD card, you can add more memory. That's not a problem. Very easy fix. This game, one of the hardest games that you'll ever play. It's a classic Capcom platformer, but it's so hard. And there's another series that came out for the NES and Game Boy. That's kind of a spin-off of the series. So it's a trivia question. See if you guys know it. Leave an answer below in the comment section. This is Famicom Disk System. A lot of games came out for it. Never came out in North America. But there's a ton of games. A lot of them, of course, are in Japanese. You got Pinball and various other ones. I'll check a game. I'll choose a game that you guys are familiar with. You guys will definitely recognize. Let's do Galaxian. Based on a classic arcade game, of course. But I love actually the 3D glasses for the Famicom. Definitely something to check out. The disk drive was interesting too. You could go to kiosks around Japan and download games, and it was a really cool concept. Unfortunately, it didn't take off in North America for the NES. Kind of too bad. I wish they did that. Game Boy Advance. Let's go check it out. Oh man, that intro just totally throws me back right there. I'm going to show you Star Wars Legos Star Wars. This is, of course, the first in many Lego games that come out. Classic. And actually, it's a fairly decent port for the Game Boy Advance. I'm actually surprised. Game Boy Advance is, initially it was kind of like a portable Super Nintendo, but it's actually a lot more powerful. Programming-wise, it's very similar, though, to the Super Nintendo, but definitely a lot more powerful. I love these series, and I just purchased the Legos Force Awakens recently, a new one, and what a great game to play multiplayer too as well. Game Boy Color. Got a lot of Game Boy Color games. Paperboy. This is a game that's based on a classic Atari arcade game, ported to every console back in the day practically. Midway, that's right. So this is ported by Midway. Object of this is to go down the street and toss newspapers, but avoid obstacles. Easier said than done. This is a very challenging game. The arcade is cool because it has like handlebars, like the bike handlebars anyway for controllers. This is a decent port, one of the better ports for the system, but man, this game is very challenging. My favorite handheld's got to be the original Game Boy. Hundreds of games came out for the system. It's long life. So many great games to check out. So many great NES ports that were ported to the Game Boy. A lot of original games for the Game Boy. Let's check out Hook. This is based on the movie. A kind of obscure game by Sony Imaginesoft. And this game, to be honest with you, is not a great game at all. He plays Peter Pan. It's a weird platforming game that you can't see. Even getting this game started is confusing. You can't go that direction. Well, what the heck, compass? I can't use a compass, whatever. So, finally find a stage that I can use. See, come on, Tink. Tink is killing me here. Oh, here we go. Look at my knife. I jab him like Look at my range on that thing. That's just ridiculous. Absolutely terrible. This is a game to avoid on the Game Boy. But check out the Game Boy system nonetheless. But this is a game to avoid. The NES core, obviously going to be popular among many people. Little Samson, one of the hardest games to find for the system, for a reason, because it's by Taito. But this is a game that came out later for the system. Graphically, it really showed the power of the NES, and it's, you know, it's one of those games that it's a lot of fun. I mean, you can choose your adventure, you choose different characters you can play as. I don't own a physical copy of Little Samson, so this is why emulation is so nice, because I actually go play it without paying hundreds of dollars for it. Now, if I ever find it for a decent price, do I want it? Absolutely. Absolutely. But this is a game you can definitely enjoy emulation for it, for not spending an arm and a leg for it. I'm going to show you, there's cheats as well. You can add cheats. I don't have anything loaded in there, but you can add some cheats like Game Genie cheats, stuff like that. There's different shaders as well, which is cool. So you can change different shaders. Now, not all these shaders will work. I used to notice on TV anyway. I'm playing this on TV. Some shaders only work on monitors. Some shaders don't work on TVs, but there's literally hundreds of different shaders. So I'm going to show you one that kind of looks like an old, this is kind of retro style. This is cool. Kind of shows you a different look on it. I know various systems like the Retron 5 will have shaders too, but this one has so many more to choose from. It's redonkulous. It really is. I'll show you the Super Nintendo core as well. Again, I keep saying this, every core is like my favorite. I keep saying that, but I feel like every time I play these, it's like they're my favorite. Anyway, Battletoads, of course, classic. A lot of these are Super Famicom games as well. Bubsy. Do you guys remember Bubsy? This is an interesting platform. I remember going to Blockbuster and renting Bubsy back in the day, and I think there was like 2 Bubsies, Bubsy 1 and 2. Accolade, that's a games company that you don't see anymore. They did a lot of computer games. I'm still got that shader on. You can see, check it out. Kind of a fun cartoony style platforming game. I actually enjoyed this series. I would actually love to see new Bubsy come out. I think that'd be a lot of fun to see new Bubsy. I'm not sure who owns the rights to this franchise anymore. Is it even a franchise if they have 2? I don't know. Did they have any other ones? I think there might be one for N64 that came out, right? Bubsy 64, I think. I think it was. I believe that was so bad I try to forget that game anyway, if it did come out. Virtual Boy, let's go check it out. Again, a great system. A lot of people don't like it. I love it. Space Invaders. This is 3D. This came out only in Japan. This is one of the more expensive games, the most expensive game on the system. Now, it's not going to be in 3D for this, of course. Now, I've seen emulators that you can change the 3D and wear the red-blue glasses, which is cool, but this will give you an idea of the game anyway. You still play it very much. I think some games to check out is Wario World. Definitely to check out. That's a game you must own. Mario Clash. Tennis is a great one. There's a lot of good games. Jack Brothers is actually a really fun game. It's actually the most uncommon North American release of the system anyway. The infamous Sega 32X. One game I do like on this is the Star Wars Arcade. This is actually a pretty decent port from Sega, based on the arcade, of course. And this one is actually very similar to, the gameplay-wise, kind of similar to the Atari one. It came out in 1983, but various options. This one, I still have the shader on, so I'm going to go ahead and take the shader off, go to the default one, stock, so you can kind of clearly see the image. You can kind of see how the shaders work. Really, really cool. Man, I'm going to ask you guys too, what are your favorite Star Wars games out there? I think Knights of the Old Republic, there's so many good ones. Battlefront, of course. Akbar, oh man, it's so classic. I love it. 32X was a flop. This one is a game check out for the system. I think Virtual Fighter one, and what's the one with the hummingbird? I can't remember the name of that, but leave a comment below that remind me on that, because that was actually an interesting one as well. Game Gear. This is like Sega's response to the Game Boy. Fairly successful for the most part. Batteries went fairly quick. I remember having the TV adapter. I thought that was really cool to watch TV on the go. I thought that was a pretty sweet adapter. Of course, TurboGrafx Express had that as well. Turbo Express had that as well. This is Sonic 2, completely different than the Sonic 2 you'd find on the Genesis. Completely different. This is more like, basically the Game Gear was a portable Sega Master System. But yeah, I mean, graphically it's a more 8-bit. Very, very colorful compared to Game Boy. Far superior as far as graphics go, sound goes, but Game Boy just was less expensive, batteries would last longer, and better games overall. That's what made it better. Next one is Sega Master System Mark III. This is huge in Brazil. I'm going to show you a game that was only released in Brazil. This system was supported through the well into the 2000s in Brazil, and I'm going to show you. Here's King's Quest. They had there was a Mortal Kombat that came forward. I don't think I have Mortal Kombat on here, but we'll go to Street Fighter 2 for the Sega Master System, which it's crazy. So it's like superior graphics and sound, or actually visually the colors and stuff. It's a lot better than the NES. You'll see that here, but just playing this with 2 buttons, action buttons and D-pad, it makes it very challenging. And the Sega Master System had no pause button either. So Tech Toy supported it, and this is all in Portuguese and stuff. But kind of interesting. I mean, graphically it looks not bad, but you'll see how slow and choppy it is. It's pretty unplayable. And even to do the action buttons like the Haruken and Shuriken, all that, it's like you can't even do it. It's just really, really hard. But they have voiceovers. It's pretty impressive what they put together. Of course, your opponent can do all the special moves, but I can't figure any of them out. Of course, the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive and rest of the world, but I always grew up known as the Genesis. This is great. One thing about the Genesis, they're known for a lot of great racers, and this is Outrunners, but they also had a lot of great beat-em-ups as well. And of course, the Sonic series was fantastic, but a lot of great series. I mean, a lot of great beat-em-ups for sure, but a lot of great exclusives for the Genesis. I mean, there was a huge war in the 90s, Super Nintendo versus Genesis. The Genesis does what Nintendo don't, kind of battle back and forth. And I had a Super Nintendo. My neighbor had a Genesis growing up. I eventually ended up buying both, getting both, but still appreciate the Genesis. It's a great system to collect for even today compared to the Super Nintendo. I love the fact the games came in clamshells, because you can get a lot of games today complete in box, because the clamshells just withstood the time, father time, where the cardboard boxes get smashed, all that good stuff. Let's close it out. It's important when you leave a game, you can close it out. This is Sega CD. Let's check this out and see if you guys can guess the game or not. One of the better games for the Sega CD. A lot of the Sega CD games were just like direct ports from the Genesis, but this one's actually unique, and it's a working designs game. See if you can guess it. Popful Mail. Yeah, this is a fun one. This is definitely a game to check out. If I recall, it's a pretty hard game to find. Just look at the intro though. It's pretty much a cartoon. It's nice. You can save everything. It saves to the Emu. This is all 16-bit. It's very, very impressive. Even with a limited color palette, they make it really great. I felt the Sega CD had so much potential. I remember playing Sewer Shark, and that was unbelievable. The 3DO came out and was a lot more expensive, of course. There is no 3DO core as far as I'm aware of it, though. I think that's a really hard game system to emulate. So is a Saturn. Unfortunately, Saturn is kind of a hard one to emulate as well. Just a good reason to go out and buy the real things, I suppose. You can take screenshots, all that good stuff. Here is SG1000. This is by Sega. This is like pre-Sega Master System. This came out kind of during the time of, I guess, before the NES a little bit. This is only in Japan. Check out Ice Hockey. You can see the games are fairly easy to navigate through. I really like the menu option. This is actually very similar graphically to like the ColecoVision. Actually, a lot of games could port very easily. In fact, there was a system that came out that you can actually play both Coleco and SG1000 games on it, which is pretty awesome. That came out in the 90s, but very, very similar. You can port easily over. No ColecoVision core on this, but I'm sure there will be one added. I hope so. It's my favorite system, actually. Again, I keep saying that about everything. But this is the SNK Neo Geo Pocket Color. Bust a Move. This is another, I showed you earlier report. This is a different version of it. This system came out during the time of Game Boy Advance or Game Boy Color, and it just didn't do very well. But SNK gave it a shot anyway. Here's the Neo Geo Pocket, the black and white one, and this is Baseball Stars. And, you can see it's, in black and white like a Game Boy, but Baseball Stars, man, this game came out for the NES as well, and I love that game. It came out for the Neo Geo Arcade and the Neo Geo AES as well. But man, home run, first time, yeah, that was me. Yeah, I kick butt there, awesome. So anyway, let's go back, and this is the PlayStation core. This is pretty cool. So I just wanted to show you an example. It will run PlayStation 1 games, great. See if you can guess this game. Universal Interactive. Oh, look, Naughty Dog. We know them, right? They're still very huge. Uncharted series, all that good stuff. Crash Bandicoot. I remember playing this game when it first came out, and this was just a completely unique platforming game from what we were used to seeing. One of my favorite games with PS1. It's an earlier game, and for a while, Crash became kind of the mascot of PlayStation 1 system. I remember seeing commercials with Crash, and I did like a Crash racing game and all that good stuff, but I think, isn't there a new Crash Bandicoot coming out? If I recall, I heard some rumblings about possibly a new Crash, or they're bringing something back. Anyway, which they should. I mean, it's an iconic series. Great, love the series. Absolutely. Now I'm using an emulation station, so this is another example of what you can do with this Raspberry Pi 3 and with this Emu Kit. I'm going to show you the N64. You can run DOSBox on here. You can do a whole bunch of other different emulators. N64 is kind of a hard emulator to run because it's hard to get the frame rate working, but the Emu, because it's so powerful, it can actually run really well. So this is F-Zero, and this is the game where, you know, it's fast paced. If the frame rate's not running right, you can definitely tell. So I just want to show you how it works. F-Zero, again, great series, by the way. And there was, for the N64 disk drive, there was actually an expansion to this game where you can create your own track, which is pretty killer. So that was pretty awesome. But you need the disk drive, you need the Japanese N64 to do that. So I have the disk drive, I have the game, the disc, but I just need an N64 Japanese system to be able to do that, which probably should get, so I can create my own editor. I've played with it before on other systems, and it looks pretty awesome. But music's killer. But this will give you an idea as far as the different cores that options, and this is the tip of the iceberg, guys. Thousands of games, not only games, you can do DVDs, movies. I mean, you can do music. The really endless opportunities here. So, guys, in conclusion, what do I think about the Raspberry Pi 3 Emu Kit? Overall, I think it's really cool. I think it's pretty neat. It's out of the box, ready to go and play. Of course, all the games aren't preloaded. That's up to you to download and get those games. However, there will be a lot of games included that you can play. So that's pretty sweet. And you can actually download and play new games, which is awesome. So you have access to that. It's Wi-Fi compatible, which is sweet. It's HDMI. I think there's a lot of, definitely a lot of positives with emulators. I know a lot of people kind of frown upon emulation. It personally doesn't affect me as far as my collecting, going out buying video games. I still prefer the physical thing, but you can save states, which is awesome. You can add shaders, which look really great. You can add cheats pretty easily. All the games you need are on one simple small thing that's fairly portable. You can bring it with you anywhere you want, you know, other than playing on TV, of course. So overall, I think it's a really cool thing. Now, can you go out and get a Raspberry Pi 3 for less expensive than this Emu? I'm sure you can, absolutely. But you're gonna have to do some homework, and a lot of people can do that, and no big deal. But this is definitely geared for those who want a kit. It's gonna be easy. You can pretty much add anything you want on this thing that Raspberry Pi 3 supports. So I just wanted to simply show you guys this. I'm really curious what you guys think about this unit. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Take care, and of course, game on.